Welcome back. Last time we were here, we were looking at how to calculate a mean, a median, and a mode, or measures of center, in some form of data setting. I'm back with another data set to try to look at the measures of dispersion and skewedness. So let's quickly go to Excel and see if we can figure out how to measure a variance. Now there are several different variance measures, but this one, the .s, is made for samples. And I think the notes show that there's a difference in the calculation between population and sample. So I want that in var.s, choose the function, highlight the data, close the parenthesis, and I'm left with the calculation of the variance of this data. So the variance has something to do with the monthly starting salaries of people with these different majors. Now the meaning, because this is the units of this is dollars squared, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But to get my units back to dollars, here's what I can look at. I can look at the standard deviation. Now I have two choices. I could just take and calculate the square root of that number just above. That will give me my standard deviation, or I can use a function made by Excel. Again, .p for population, .s for sample. Choose the function, highlight the data, close the parenthesis, and it returns the standard deviation. So now the standard deviation, the units of measure here are the same as the units of measure in column B, which is in dollars. So here's what I know. The standard deviation, I expect, given Chebyshev's rule, that 68% of these numbers sitting over here are going to be within one standard deviation on either side of this mean. So I could look at it this way. I could do the mean minus the standard deviation and the mean plus the standard deviation. And here's what I expect. 68% of the time, I expect all of my monthly starting salaries to be between $3,388, $4,692. 68% of the time. We also measured skewedness, which has a lot to do with the look of the distribution. And turns out there's a function for skew. The skew and skew.p, this is for population again. This is just for samples. Choose the function, highlight the data. Paying attention now to the sign. The sign is positive, so this data is slightly skewed to the right. And then looking at the magnitude of the number. The number itself is just a half. So it's not terribly skewed to the right, but it is still skewed. Alright, we have a 5-number summary that we can also calculate, starting with the minimum. So the minimum is a function in Excel. MIN. Open a parenthesis, highlight the data, and I get that the smallest salary per month, starting salary, $2,640. Now, next thing I can calculate are the quartiles. So let's start off with this one. Quartile of this array, and I want the first quartile. Now let's go back to this. Look at that. Maybe this is named. I want to fix this. Let's see what it does for us. Okay, maybe I can go ahead and copy this down. And let's just see, make sure it copied. Okay, apparently whoever gave us this data has named the data set. And they have named that data set ST underscore monthly salary, which is rather nice. I mean, if you want to remember, or I always have a hard time remembering when I name ranges, but it does do nice things like take and create absolute references without much thinking. Let's go ahead and get the maximum as well. max, open parenthesis, highlight the data I'm interested in, and I have calculated the maximum. So these numbers summarize all of my data. It's like a 5-number, well, it's not like, it is a 5-number summary. Smallest salary per month, $2,640. Largest salary per month, $6,050. And then everything in between, 50% of all the numbers are $4,045 per month or less. The other 50% are greater than $4,045. Let's calculate the range. I already have the data together to calculate the range. All I need is the maximum minus the minimum, giving me the range. So these monthly starting salaries are all in an interval of length $3,410. Let's look at the inner quartile range. That is the third quartile minus the first quartile, or $885. So the middle quartile, the middle 50% of the data, is only a range of $885. There's not a lot of variation in the middle of that data. Okay, well, thank you. This is going to cover variance, skew, and this 5-number summary, and then the range and inner quartile range. Thank you.